So I feel like I should probably just come out the gate right away and say, I just want to be clear. I did not stop being kind to people. I did not stop caring about people. I did not become cold or bitter or arrogant or anything like that. Just so you guys know. What I truly and honestly stopped doing was just bending myself to other people's will, into whatever shape or form other people wanted me to be, just so nobody would ever have a problem with me. That's what I stopped doing. And honestly, that shift really did change a lot for me. For the longest time, I thought being a good person meant being easy to deal with. Mickey Mouse, like not a lot of trouble. I thought it meant always being agreeable, being polite, avoiding conflict unless it got really, really crazy, and always making sure nobody felt uncomfortable that I took up space in a room. And while that is a noble goal to just not want to rock the boat with anybody and have everything be all smiles and all positivity, it's just not real. It's just not realistic. In an ideal world, yeah, nobody would have a problem with anybody, but that's fantasy. We live in real life. Man, I was so misguided that I really thought that if I was nice enough, if I was flexible enough and accommodating enough for all people would just naturally respect me more. They just like me more. They would gravitate to me, and bam, I don't have to worry about if people are close to me or care about me because, oh, I'm so nice. Why wouldn't they? And that just doesn't work. It's just such a childish way of thinking about it. And I had a whole phase where I was really trying to be like that, and sometimes I even go through little down periods where I'm thinking like, you know what, I'm taking things too far, or I'm being too dramatic, let me just subdue myself. But what I always learned during those phases is that if you make yourself too easy to shape, too accessible, if your mind is too accessible, people don't always respect you more. Sometimes they just take more from you. They just mold you. They just kind of look right through you. It's a little bit weird to say, but there comes a point in your life where you have to ask yourself, am I actually living my life right now in this moment, or am I just trying to stay acceptable and even in 5 out of 10 to everybody around me? Yeah, sure, like people enjoy being around people who are 5 out of 10 and medium and milquetoast, but who really remembers people like that? If you're like that, you might be widely accepted and you might be widely known, but you might not end up in a position where you're somebody's first or second or third choice. Because honestly, if you spend your whole life trying to please everybody around you and be all clean and cut, you eventually fall through the cracks and you slip through people's fingers. You become a reflection of other people's preferences. You become almost like a film reel or some type of a reflective mirror that follows people around. At that point, you stop having a center. You stop having something like a guiding principle, like a North Star that grounds you. You stop having a shape, and when that happens, people might call you nice, but they probably don't really know you at a deep level. We're talking about friendships or a relationship or family or things like that. It's not really the best place to be. And admitting that people pleasing was not good for me was really hard. It was not an easy thing for me to admit to myself. And let me tell you, like, the other side of the coin isn't perfect either. My friends describe me as mean. They describe me as a bully. They describe me as hard-headed. Like they'll use all these types of words to describe me. But on the flip side, a lot of my friends, now of course I don't want to go out there and toot my own horn or whatever, because I don't really know 100% what's up in their heads. I haven't put them to a lie detector test yet. But I would like to say that a lot of my friends do hold me to a high regard, and they do care about my opinion. And I'd like to imagine that a good amount of that respect actually comes from knowing, like, hey, if Matt thinks that I'm stepping out of line, or if Matt has some genuine advice for me, he's not holding his tongue. It's what you see is what you get. Feel like, of course, this is mainly oriented towards male friendship, but this could go to all sorts of friendships out there. So if you're a girl, or if you're a guy, but your friendships look a little different, I feel like a lot of friendship has to do with being a trust fall. You, especially guys, will tend to like razz each other and make jokes and poke at each other and prod, but that also gets accented by having genuine care, genuine advice, genuinely wanting to see your boys actually do well. And it's really hard to get that done when your entire personality is like a mayonnaise sandwich. Being able to make these small incremental changes to change the way that you're perceived and have it be more one-to-one with what's actually in your heart, it actually starts with just not wanting to live carefully managed anymore in your life. You tell yourself like, oh, I want to live with some weight behind my words. I want my yes to actually mean yes. I want my no to actually mean no. I want people to know that I care, but also like I have some standards. There are some standards. There there is a rule book to being around me. Have some boundaries, set boundaries with people that are healthy, and tell yourself like, I want to have a personality that is not for public editing. This isn't some type of like a public Wikipedia page. My personality is what it is. It's open to change like any other person, but let me tell you, it is defined by me. And the truth is, if you don't stand for something in your life that you truly feel, people will stand on you, whether they're meaning to be malicious or if it's just a happenstance circumstance. Not always maliciously they'll do this, but sometimes people just do what people do. They test your limits. They see what they can get away with. They see what makes you tick. They push until something pushes back. And if you never push back, they learn that you won't. And that becomes a new rule. I dealt with a situation like this within the last few years where I had these two friends. They were good friends. Like, these are good people. I would still stand by it. These are good people, just not super compatible with me anymore. I feel like we just went in different directions. That's fine. That's cool. And it became very clear that we were on two completely different pages with the friendship. I don't know if it's a matter of not communicating or if it's a matter of just thinking that each other were on different pages, but we were not seeing eye to eye. See, like I was saying before, that if you're going to have the push and pull of a friendship where you're mean and you poke fun at each other and roast each other, it needs to be balanced by something warm. There needs to be some warmth there. Now with these guys, what they like to really do is push that envelope a lot further, which I have a sense of humor. I can appreciate an edgy joke, but if it's at my expense and it's from somebody who at this point I feel like doesn't know me, doesn't put in the effort to know me, on my end I don't put in the effort to know them anymore because we just grew apart, it felt weird. I always thought it was weird, and I always thought it felt strange. It didn't feel right. It felt very against the grain. And while I'll always root for these people and I'll always secretly in my head think like, you know what? I wish we could have fixed this. I wish we could have put this together. I wish this didn't go this way. It just is what it is. It's life. I hit a wall with this negativity, and I remember one time I stopped them and I said like, hey, do you guys not like me? Because I feel like it's only ever negative conversation with you guys. I feel like there's not really a yin and yang here. It's just you guys see me do something, you think it's cringe or you think it's stupid or you think it's dumb. You make fun of it, and then you kind of like laugh and walk out the door, and that's the whole relationship. I mean, like, they heard me out, like they heard what I had to say, but it just was a different conclusion. They were like, I just want to see you do well. And in my head, I'm like, dude, like it's not pushing me towards doing well. You're in a placement in my life where you don't get a seat at the table anymore. We don't talk. And that wasn't nice. That wasn't a nice thing for me to do, but it was honest, it was direct, and it ended with the conversation pretty much leading to me being like, hey, listen, this might be a compatibility thing. Maybe we shouldn't be as close friends as we think we are. And then we went our separate ways. Just that wasn't an easy conversation to have, and like maybe they walked away thinking that I was being mean or that I was just being unreasonable. I felt good. I felt like I was not holding back. I wasn't biting my tongue, and I gave them my actual take on the dynamic, and there it went. The honest version of life began. I think in a lot of dynamics, a lot of people, especially good-hearted people who want the best for everybody, they get trapped because they confuse being loved or positive with being used. They think if they are endlessly accommodating, they'll be valued. But what actually happens is that even though they take up some space in people's lives, they mostly stay out of the way. They try to be harmless, but the reality is they start to just kind of blend into the background and start to take on the shape of what other people think about them. In my opinion, that's not love. That's actually just extraction. That's just taking up space. So ultimately, I stopped trying to be harmless. When I say that, I don't mean I became aggressive or hostile on purpose or forced it. I just mean that I stopped trying to erase myself to make other people feel right or other people feel better. It essentially ultimately led up to me I stopped apologizing for having opinions and taking up space. I stopped moving my boundaries just because somebody looked disappointed or didn't agree with me. And I stopped treating every disagreement like it was a crisis or a referendum on me as a person. Because at the end of the day, life is not meaningful when you are only reacting to other people and what they have going on. A meaningful life requires some kind of spine, some kind of backbone to back you up. It requires a direction to walk in, and it requires you to stand on something solid as a foundation. Not because you need to become rigid, not because you need to become mean, not because you need to think that you know everything and you're always right, but because without a center to yourself and a core to yourself and your ideals, you can be pulled in any direction. You really don't know what that direction is. It's like you're walking outside and you close your eyes and you just let whatever variables and factors around you guide you where you're going. You might not like where you end up. So it's good to open your eyes and say something. But I would love to know right now in the comment section, guys, leave me a comment saying, what is one thing about your dynamics with people that makes you stand out, or something that you want to work on, like something that's tangible for you? For me, it's just being a pushover. I aspire to stop being it. I'm essentially not a pushover anymore, but of course, I do have some people pleaser aspects to my personality, and I work on them every single day. Speaking of working on goals every single day, I do have a Discord community. A lot of you guys have joined it. We're coming up on like, I think 100 members in there already, and we only just started like a month ago. Feel free to join it, guys. Very good group of people esteemably working on their goals. It's a good place to be. It's very positive. And of course, I'm always posted up in there, so if you want to talk to me and have some one-on-one time, that's going to be the place for it. But other than that, that's my time, guys. So have a good weekend.